You're listening to the Fantasy Sports Radio Network.
It's Scout Fantasy Sports.
All right, we're back for Scout Fantasy Sports. Dr. Roto along with Adam Ronis. Talking all things fantasy, baseball, but now we turn our attention to NBA DFS. And that's where you go to scoutdfs.com. You find our friends there, Jaguar Lou and Fuego Steve and Willie Walls and Steve Renner and Nate White, are all these smart guys. But we have with us Jaguar Lou right now. Lou, what's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Lou, did you know Lou could hear us over the break, Ronos? So all those things that we said about him, we have to take back right now.
I don't. I'm not going to hide it.
All right.
Listen, I agree with everything you said. 12-5 LeBron, too high. Kobe Simmons, great play, but there's a couple of other value plays that people might not think of. And let's fade this Rozier 60% expected, over usage. I think people are going to really go towards Rozier today with Kyrie Irving out. But let's fade that guy today, huh?
All right, I guess we don't need you. Have a good day.
All right, that was Jaguar Lou. Have a good one.
We got a lot more stuff. Don't worry.
Oh, phew. All right, Lou, hook us up here. What's going on in Memphis? Is Kobe Simmons going to live up to his Kobe name?
Look, there's usage to be had from this game, and there's value to be had. Personally, I'm going to stay away from it for the most part. It scares me. It could get out of hand. There's a definite possibility of a blowout. Kobe Simmons is my only really value play or play I would think about. With no Chalmers, no Tyreek Evans, I just think that somebody has to score. But there are other value plays that I really think are 6X value that people won't be jumping on in the starting lineup. You know, I like to go value plays that are under-owned. And I can talk to you guys for that a bit when you guys are ready, but someone like Jay Crowder, 6X value at 4,800 on Utah. He has a great spot today, as well as Ed Davis in a revenge game against the LA Lakers. So while Kobe Simmons is great value, there's value all over the slate today. And if you ask me whether I'd have value over-owned or under-owned, under-owned is definitely the way you want to go.
You mentioned that you wanted a fade Rozier for Boston. Kyrie Irving is out. But let's make that clear. In cash games, would you play him? And are you talking about fading him in tournaments?
I'm fading him in tournaments. I mean, look, cash games, while I don't love his matchup against Dunn, he's going to be on the court 35 minutes. So his price is low, and you should get 30 points out of him, 35. But don't expect these massive games from him just because he's in the starting lineup. Dunn is a very good defender. He went to Providence. I went to URI. I've seen this kid play. He's very, very good. And Rozier's on the smaller end. So I think Rozier's going to do more passing than not tonight. And fading doesn't just mean fading a player. It also means who you're playing because you don't think he's going to do well. So by me fading Rozier in my GPP lineups, it means that I really like Horford and Brown tonight. You know, Brown has shut down LeBron every time. If you look at their last game logs, a buddy of mine, Gautzog, very talented DFS player, I was talking to him this morning. I don't know if this was 100%. I think he was telling me LeBron has only once hit 6X versus Brown, if I remember correctly, and they faced each other multiple times. And when I say Brown, I mean Jaylen Brown. So Horford and Brown could be some great plays if you want to fade Rozier, because the fact is Rozier is not in a good matchup tonight against Dunn.
All right, Lou, you mentioned the magic number 6X. Give me, you said Crowder, you said Ed Davis. Do you have any other 6X kind of guys that you like?
Yes, and these guys I'm mentioning, you're not going to like them because they're risky, but these 6X guys allow you to have 2-3 superstars. So I mentioned Jay Crowder, 6X versus Utah. I mentioned Ed Davis. These are really behind-the-scenes guys. They're going to be, I think, under 5% owned. But I really think they're going to do well. If you play Ed Davis, you play him with Julius Randle. Julius Randle has a huge upside tonight. He should really, really eat up that Portland center position and power forward position, Aminu and Nurkic. So if you play Ed Davis, play him with Julius Randle. But the weird one that I heard of, when as I looked into it, it's pretty viable. Shabazz Muhammad, back to back, he moved from Minnesota to Milwaukee. He's minimum priced. Milwaukee's kind of beat up right now, and it's kind of the perfect game to give Shabazz some minutes and get him involved. I believe this is the first game Shabazz is with them, so it's a little risky, but he's minimum price. So if they get blown out and there's some garbage minutes to be had, Shabazz Muhammad could really help you make some stars and scrubs lineups on his new team, and I think they could be blown out tonight. So, those are some of my value plays. There are some locks if you want to know them as well. But,
of course, Lou, we need to know everything.
Yeah, so first of all, you got to lock in Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis, Robin Lopez out, big body, great matchup, done. Lock him in. And then Horford and Brown. I think those are locks as well. If you're playing DraftKings or FanDuel for that matter, you can throw in Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert versus Vucevic on Orlando doesn't get much easier than that. Vucevic is the worst defender in the world. It's a fact. My grandmother played one-on-one versus Vucevic, and she won. So
she's pretty good.
Yeah, she's got good handle. She's got good handle, Ronis.
She turned 90 yesterday. I think the game was when she was 85, granted, but it's really amazing. He's a horrible defender, unbelievable offensive player, but Vucevic really turns around those Orlando center DVPs very quickly. So Rudy Gobert should be a nice matchup. The only thing I'm worried about is the blowout, but he should see a lot of rebounds, I guess, in that scenario.
Speaking of horrible, the Suns play tonight. They're going against Miami. Wayne Ellington is doubtful. Tyler Johnson is questionable. Who are we looking at in Miami? Can we go to Dwayne Wade, who is still pretty cheap and has played well? Josh Richardson. Where are we looking at for Miami tonight?
So Miami, you got to wait on that Tyler Johnson news. If he is out, you've got to go Dragic, and then you've got to go Devin Booker. But in terms of value, what I see, Dragic Bender has been allowing massive DVPs to opposing power forwards. Tyson Chandler is getting up there in age, but he's not the worst defender. So assuming Tyson Chandler could hold off Hassan Whiteside slightly, Justin Winslow is at that power forward slot today versus Bender, I believe. Just because I think Josh Richardson matches up against TJ Warren a little bit better. And Justice Winslow should see a nice matchup versus Dragic Bender, who at one point was playing great defense. But currently he's leading the league in DVPs, allowing points to opposing power forwards over the last 5 and up there in the last 10, if I'm not mistaken. So I do like Justice Winslow as a nice value play, but if you do hear that Tyler Johnson's out, I think Goran Dragic is another great matchup with high usage against Elfrid Payton.
Lou, with Kevin Love out and Tristan Thompson out, Jeff Green out, does this make the Detroit Pistons, Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, more interesting because they could get a ton of rebounds?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at RotoWire projections, and it says Larry Nance going up against Andre Drummond. So obviously that can't be true, but I don't know what's going to happen there. One of the reasons I'm fading LeBron is just because I think they're going to be beat pretty badly today. Reggie Bullock at the shooting guard position on Detroit is a very good defender, as is Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond's a big body in the center, so I don't really see anybody playing particularly well on the Cleveland starting lineup. There's a couple Cleveland bench players I don't mind, but I do think Detroit, goes away with this game a little bit. Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond definitely see usage bumps and projection bumps as well.
Elfrid Payton has been putting up really good numbers. His price doesn't seem to go up. He's 7,100 on FanDuel, 7,200 on DK. Is he in play tonight, or are you worried about the game staying competitive?
Elfrid Payton's one of those guys. He's a great offensive player. He's a great passer, poor defender, very involved in the offense when he wants to be. But, he's in a new system here. So I try to fade him when I can until I know what's really going on in Phoenix. Sometimes Devin Booker takes the ball. I like to look for more consistency. But Elfrid Payton is always a viable play for upside and value. He gets steals. It's if I'm going to invest one $500 lineup, I can't take a chance on him. You know, Goran Dragic has high usage right now. You definitely could take advantage of his poor defense. Goran Dragic, that is, towards Elfrid Payton. So I really wouldn't consider Payton, and the times I do, it's when the whole team has good matchups. He's capable of stealing and racking up a lot of assists, points, and stuff like that in fast-paced games.
Lou, you mentioned before, if you play Ed Davis, take a look at Julius Randle. And you mentioned Crowder, but you didn't mention anybody on Orlando, so I'll ask you first about that. And then secondly, do I have to correlate players? I mean, or can I just go pick guys from teams I like?
Look, I like to do correlations. You know, I spend all day trying to find out locks. And when you're making a lineup, it's really all about the game flow. If Julius Randle does really well, and I could hedge that with, or Brook Lopez does well, the centers or the big men, power forwards and centers from Portland are going to be taken out of the game. It makes sense. So with that said, you have a guy in Ed Davis who has a revenge game with the Lakers. He used to be there. He didn't really get a shot there. And I just think Ed Davis, I think he is the biggest guy on that team to really compete with these matchups. And when you play correlation games or correlation plays, you end up knocking out two birds with one stone. You know, you say, all right, I love Julius Randle today. What does that mean for the game flow? That means that the big men from Portland are going to be either in foul trouble or on the bench because they can't handle him. Who on the bench can handle him? Ed Davis can handle him. Oh, he used to play for them. Nice. Like everything, that's how my brain works. Like everything starts adding up. And, you know, despite Ed Davis being at a low price, he really should see a lot of minutes today, and he's a point-per-minute kind of guy for sure.
If Brandon Ingram is ruled out for the Lakers, Kyle Kuzma likely starts. How much do you like him? He's 5,600 on FanDuel, 54 on DK.
I love rostering Kuzma. I really do, especially in these spots where, like, you have a player that's questionable and you can invest a couple lineups, and if they get wasted, they get wasted. But that's it. Kuzma's a great player. If he ends up in the starting lineup, he should hit value. I actually took him on a night a couple weeks ago, or like this past week, where he wasn't in the starting lineup. The guy in the power forward position had a bad matchup, and he came off the bench with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Ended up scoring like 23 fantasy points in the first half, came and started the second half. Kuzma's an amazing talent. If they need points, they got to go to their unbelievably talented young guys.
You mentioned Reggie Bullock before being a good defender. The Cavaliers struggle with letting up three-pointers. Is Reggie Bullock good enough offensively tonight to start?
Yeah, he is. But if you're going to do that, that's like when I go to the correlation plays. So if you really want Reggie Bullock tonight, like maybe take a Cleveland backup shooting guard, so like Jordan Clarkson, you know, hoping that Bullock knocks out J.R. Smith and or George Hill, having Jordan Clarkson come off the bench and run the point. The problem is there's too many players on Cleveland for me, and like the garbage minutes, like actually sit those talented bench players as well. So that's why I'm really staying away from Cleveland tonight in general. I may find some value on that bench, like in Larry Nance possibly, but I really don't like this Cleveland game today. Without Tristan Thompson guarding the paint, I think they might get demolished.
Who are you spending up on tonight? You said you really don't like LeBron. You have Giannis at 10-4 on DK, Damian Lillard, Andre Drummond. So who are the guys that you're looking to pay up for if you're going to jam in that value?
I really like Blake Griffin tonight. He hasn't been playing well, and that's not even paying up. But I'm going to have more of a consistent lineup tonight, I think, a structured middle-of-the-road kind of lineup. I like a lot of these $4,500 to $7,000 mid-range to like lower, higher range. Blake Griffin really looks good today. Despite Andre Drummond being in a great matchup as well, I have no problem playing both. Blake Griffin looks like a good matchup today, and he might get his step back today against LeBron. And I think that they're going to play really bad Cleveland. I think they're going to miss a lot of shots, and I think you'll see Drummond and Griffin rack up a lot of boards. Other than that, like you can play Oladipo. It's one of those days you might end up having like a couple of $7,000, $8,000, low $9,000 players, and you can fill out your lineup with a bunch of projection between 35 and 45, and I love those days. With Bobby Portis going up against Boston, such an easy lock. I love it so much. And Al Horford, the same thing with Kyrie Irving out. So you can't, yeah.
Lou, let me ask you this, and I get confused by this, and maybe our listeners do too. You said you love Bobby Portis, but you like Julius Randle. You like Blake Griffin. It's on FanDuel. I can only get 2 of these guys in. What do I do?
DraftKings. That's why on these nights when there's like multiple centers, multiple guards, DraftKings is the place to go to for that. The designations are so easy. Some players like Julius Randle are power forwards and centers. So now when you grab those players, you can not only put them in the forward slot and the center slot, but you can have a utility slot. So you have to be able to judge for yourself. When there's a night like you see a bunch of centers and power forwards, those guys are going to be center and power forward eligible on DK. So like those are the nights when you find yourself liking a lot of people at the center position, and especially when sometimes they're better priced on DK. You go over there and you say, let me see how many guys I can fit with the different lineup constructions they have on DK when I said DK DraftKings. So that's what I love to do. Like tonight, I'm looking at all these satellites, and I'm going to be running a couple of different lineups.
All right, Jaguar Lou, Scout DFS. We love having you on. Good luck tonight. I hope you become my rich friend.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. Be good.
All right. I don't know, Ronis. He's right. DraftKings gives you more options.
I play mostly on DraftKings now. For some reason, I feel like I do better there. I used to be more FanDuel, but I do agree. You know, the nights when you can play multiple centers and the position designation with guys that have multiple eligibility, I just think it creates a nice roster flexibility.
Absolutely. So if you're confused what to do like I was, play DraftKings, I guess. All right, we come back. We're going back in labor. It's not going to be pretty. We'll discuss when we return right after this.
Watch Craig Carton live, the top 8 at 9 on Twitch.tv from the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 every Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Do you want to be a part of the show? Take part in the Twitch chat room and give me your opinions or call in 844-84-FNTSY. Go to Twitch.tv/Craig Carton Live and get in on the action. Come get some. It's Craig Carton Live, the top 8 at 9, only on Twitch.tv.
Hi, it's Adam Ronis, 2-time Tout Wars winner and senior fantasy expert at Scout Fantasy Sports, and I'm back on the air here at the Fantasy Sports Network. 78% of our subscribers took home a fantasy title in 2017. Scout Fantasy Sports is the source for expert analysis and the best mid to late round players to lead you to a fantasy title. There is no better team of baseball experts in the industry than the team here at Scout Fantasy Sports. Don't be a sheep and follow the herd. Sign up today at scoutfantasysports.com.
Have you ever wanted to have a fantasy expert in the palm of your hand? Or better yet, in the pocket of your khakis? Well, check it out now. You can. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Download it now to your phone. We promise no weird viruses, no strange tracking things. Just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of pure fantasy knowledge dropping all over your head. It's the Fantasy Sports Radio Network app. Stop being a weirdo and streaming it online. Get it on your phone. Take it with you everywhere you go.
Do you love watching your fantasy players score a winning touchdown? Now imagine you actually got to call that touchdown play. The Fan Controlled Football League is putting play calling in the hands of fans with real professional football players running the action. Visit fcfl.io to learn more.
Muscle Maker Grill was made for baseball season. Muscle Maker Grill supplies you with delicious, healthy meals that will give you energy to cheer on your team week after week. Whether you're craving flavorful salad, packed wraps, or guiltless entrees, Muscle Maker Grill has you covered. Hosting a game? No problem. Our catering packages will have your whole team satisfied with flavors ranging from Italian to Tex-Mex and much, much more. Visit MuscleMakerGrill.com for your nearest location and have a winning season.
The sun can make your outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable you can't use it. But now there's the Sunsetter Retractable Awning. A Sunsetter Retractable Awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds, and it keeps your patio about 20 degrees cooler. It provides instant shade and protection from the sun's harmful rays. You can get your Sunsetter for as little as $5.99 when you call now to get your special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit. You're going to love your Sunsetter Retractable Awning. Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last for years. So call 800-869-5446 now to get a free awning idea kit with DVD, plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate. This is a limited time offer, so call 800-869-5446 now. That's 800-869-5446 for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation, so call 800-869-5446 now.
All right, we're back for Scout Fantasy Sports. Dr. Roto along with Adam Ronis here. I don't know. Lou made me think here, Ronis. I always think, like, I don't want to play NBA. That's the first thing I think. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I could win some money tonight, Ronis.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good. So I pretty much play every night. I did not play Saturday, and I just threw in one quick lineup last second because I didn't have much time to prepare. But tonight will be playing for sure. And it's a solid slate, 7-game slate here tonight. So I'll be playing for sure.
I think I have to get, if you don't get Drummond in your lineup tonight, you may be insane.
Yeah, he should eat against Cleveland, who is terrible defensively. They won't have Tristan Thompson. They're going to be undersized down low. And Drummond's been beasting. I mean, you'll pretty much lock in a double-double and could be a 20-20 night.
Let me give you a guy, Ronis. Here's a guy. Do you like Rodney Hood?
Yeah, I've used him a couple times recently. His price is still pretty cheap, and it looks like his role is expanding a little bit. So he's $4,500 on DK. He could pay that off. Right, because with all those guys injured, they've said that they want to play him more. Yeah, I'm considering him. I really don't lock in my lineup until, well, obviously right before tip-off, but I really start looking at closely 5, 30, and 6. It's nice to get an idea now, but a lot can change with last-minute scratches and value opening up. And, we say now, oh, yeah, don't pay up for this guy. You might wind up paying for him later if more value opens up.
No, that's true. That's true. All right, let's see. Let's get back to LABR. Let's get to Clay Link. He went with Correa and Bogarts, Adam, who I do like them. But that rest of that infield to me is just kind of wretched.
Yeah, there's question marks, no doubt. Joe Mauer, look, he continues to hit for average, no power. So, hey, if he gives you the average again in the counting stats in the minor league, fine, not ideal. Brandon Phillips doesn't have a team right now. So it was only $3, but is he going to sign anywhere? And if it's an American League, if it's a National League team, he loses them. Eduardo Escobar, part-time player right now. Yolmer Sanchez probably going to start for the White Sox. And I think in a lot of leagues he has second, third base eligibility. We'll see. Mike Moustakas has been linked there, so if he goes and signs there, that will hurt him. Hanley, $5. Obviously,
I think he might be paying up too much, dude.
For Hanley?
Yeah, I don't like Hanley. I don't like him at all this year.
Well, $5 in a mono league if he's in this Red Sox lineup.
I like him in a mono. Yeah, I like him in a mono. But
well, that's what we're talking about right now, aren't we?
I know. But I'm just talking about the player in general. I don't like Hanley Ramirez. There's no way the Red Sox are giving this guy 490 at-bats.
Well, they won't, but he could get 450.
That's true. I mean, if he gets 450, do you think he goes 2080?
If he's healthy, he should. I mean, but again, that's been the biggest question mark. This is a good lineup. He should have plenty of opportunities to drive it runs, but you just worry about if he can stay healthy and on the field.
All right, I want to go to his pitching for a second. I want to give you two pitchers, okay? One of whom I like, and I know you like the other guy, but maybe you like both as well. I'm not sure. Blake Snell and Mike Clevinger. Let's assume you really like them. Let's assume that they're sleepers you have. $15 for Snell and $14 for Clevinger. You're paying top dollar. What's your theory on paying up for your sleepers, even paying more than you expected to, just because you want to get the guys you want?
I think sometimes you just have to pull back if you feel that the price is too high. And, it's challenging because you have an idea of players you want to target. You really like them. And especially if you do what we do, we're writing and talking about them. You feel like, all right, I need to take my guys. I've been pimping them out. But there comes a point where you say, you know what, the price is too much. Let someone else have them, because it happens. I was in a draft last year, and the guy threw out Justin Turner, $10. Let's see how much Adam bids on him. Same thing with Nick Castellanos, because they knew that I liked them, heard me talk about them. You think that's going to get in my head? You can take them. You can drive the price. Yeah, I'm in on the bidding. Once it goes too high, he's yours. Enjoy it. So you have to have an idea of where you want to go. And again, in these leagues, it's a little bit tougher because we don't know when the players came out. Maybe there was money sitting there and they said, damn, these are the top 2 pitchers that I have left. And then it's a big drop off in the tier.
So let's say you like them. Let's say you like them. How much would you bid on Snell and Clevenger?
Clevenger, I like. The issue for him is, will he be in the starting rotation? I think he will to begin the year because Salazar is banged up. I don't like Mike Tomlin, but yet the Indians seem to like him and put him out there.
Tomlin?
Tomlin, yeah.
Oh, you said it's Mike Tomlin.
Okay,
He's
whatever. Yeah,
coach.
Josh
Okay.
Tomlin.
Mike
But yeah,
Tomlin will kick your butt.
But with Clevenger, he has the strikeout rate there. He just needs to cut down on walks. That's it. He still had a low ERA last year and the low 3s when he pitched between relief and starting pitching. So, he could be a guy that takes a big step up. And Snell, we know the talent's there. He just needs to cut down on the walks, and he did a little bit towards the end of last year. And he's in the starting rotation.
Right.
With
no Honeywell, for sure.
You need innings and at-bats in this format.
No, that's true. I think Snell could be the AL East sleeper pitcher of the year.
The problem is
sleeper.
You're probably not getting a lot of wins.
Right. You're hoping to get 10. You're not getting 14. You
Highly
could get
unlikely with
6.
this team,
You could get 6. Right? But if I told you that Snell pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, wouldn't shock you.
I would not count on 7 innings many times out just because no one does it anymore.
That's true. And he throws a lot of pitches, too.
He has to cut down on the walks. That's clear. Again, and that's what you see with a lot of young pitchers. They have good stuff. They can get the strikeouts. The question is, can they limit the walks?
All right, Colton and the Wolfman with their smart philosophy. So usually in their smart philosophy, they get 1 starting pitcher that's a lock, an anchor, where they did with Chris Archer. They get 1 closer. They did in Cody Allen. And they get a couple of big hitters. They spent $30 on Gary Sanchez. And then they spent a lot on Benintendi and Justin Upton. Do you like what they did here?
Overall, I'm going to say yes. I would never spend $30 on a catcher. There's no way I would do it. I get it. Sanchez is a really good hitter, good lineup. The power's legit. I'm just not investing $30 in a catcher.
Look, I like Sanchez. I think I would have bid 25 comfortably. I don't think I would have said 26.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Would you have gone to 20?
20, yeah, but I know I'm not getting them. So
right, but you would no, and that's fine. So, but I think, look, even if you're not getting a guy, I want to be on the bid. I know I'm at 25. Maybe I'm in on him. I'll be there. But after that, man, I don't feel good about that. 28, 29, I start to get the heebie-jeebies on us.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty clear that they definitely wanted him. He was a piece of the puzzle. And you know what? Sometimes you can sense that in the draft room if you're doing it live and in person, and you could read people's reactions. So my guess is, and knowing that Colton's a Yankees fan, he probably really wanted a bat, so I'll drive up the price. Just make sure when it gets to a certain point, if you say 27, you better make sure you're comfortable with him at 27, because sometimes your opponent will stop. Because I've done it to people. People know who I wanted. And I remember one year it was Mark Teixeira, and I used to have him in my league every year. People knew they were bidding up like crazy, and I stopped. My friend got stuck with him.
39, right?
He didn't have a great year. Good for you. That's karma, buddy. Don't worry about me. Focus on your team.
I tend to bid. So let's say I know Colton is a Yankee fan, big Yankee fan. So if we're at 28, I'll say 29 because I feel pretty confident that Colton's.
You really would?
I think I would, yeah. But
it's a risk.
I wouldn't go 30 and hope he goes 30. So
that means you're comfortable rostering him at 29.
Well, it is, but look, here's what I'm going with. My bigger point. The bidding is at 28, right? I'll go 29. Human nature dictates. This is not 100% of the time what I'm saying. 90% of the time, people don't want to lose out. Colton thought he had him at 28. I said 29. You're going to spend 28, you'll go 30. But he may not go 32, right? You see the difference there? So I might push him up 1, but I would not push him up 2 because then I think I'd get stuck with him at 31 and then I'd be really annoyed.
Yeah, you're risking it at 29, I think.
Not if it was 28 and he was feeling good about it.
Still, it doesn't matter, man. You run the risk. Again, you have to be comfortable.
But I would do that with and I would do that with a player I liked. Only with a player, right? With a player I liked.
You have to. Look, I get that you want to increase bidding on players, especially if you know people like them, but you don't want to get stuck in a position where you don't like that player at that price because you have to take into account they could stop.
Do you know where I get so screwed up? This happens to me more than anywhere. It'll be the end of the draft. I'll be looking for players that I don't want. And I'll throw out a guy
for a buck.
And I'm like, please, somebody say two.
That is the worst. That is a good. You have to be very careful with those $1 players because here's the issue. Okay, there are $1 players you want that you are saving for the end.
Right.
You have to calculate. Okay, do I throw him out here because I really want him? Is there anyone else with that can go to 2 or 3?
Because he could go to 5, and I don't want to pay 5. I want to pay 1. Right.
You're saving them, but at the same time, you're like, okay, I don't want this guy for a buck. Let me throw him out here.
Could you imagine saying Alex Gordon 1?
Right. Then you're praying that someone else takes him. If you get stuck with him, you're like, damn it, I wasted a spot on someone I didn't want, thinking someone would go to. It happens to all of us. That's the real key part is the end there. And you have to look and see what everyone else has. And it's tough because you're like, damn it, this guy can go to 2 or 3, and I can only spend 1 on him. What do I do? And
I told you I got so fixated on my end game last year in my home league. I wanted to get Joe Jimenez and Luke Weaver. And I got so fixated on that I forgot that Cody Bellinger was available in the reserve rounds. I mean, how did I miss that? Seriously, in a million years, how did I miss that? But you know what? The end game is you have to be on point. You cannot make a mistake there because that $1 extra you spend can cost you a player.
Absolutely. It's very important to pay attention to it. And when you throw out the players as well, especially if you're down to like 5 players for $5, that's rough. You can't go to $2, and then there's always a couple teams sitting there that can go to 2, 3, and if they like the player, you lose out on them.
All right, the man who puts his book up as his team logo, Winning Fantasy Baseball with Larry Schechter. Larry has been studying baseball, Ronis, I'm sure since last season ended. He does his projections. He paid a lot of money for D. Gordon. He paid a lot of money for Didi Gregorius. He paid a lot for Whit Merrifield. Paid a lot for Adrian Beltre. He paid a lot. I thought Judge was a great buy at 26, by the way.
It is. I do have concerns about Judge, though, and it seemed like the room did, too.
They did. The room did. Eddie Rosario went for 22, and Judge went for 26?
Yeah, it seems odd.
And then he spent 13 on Trumbo, 37 on Corey Kluber. But I guess when Sale goes for 38, then I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's the problem is, especially in the AL, it seems like the pitching is a little bit thinner at the top, and Kluber obviously has been one of the best pitchers in the AL, had another strong spring outing yesterday, 3 innings, 5 Ks, and a guy that has just been one of the best. And even with the injury last year, he still managed to go 200 innings, 4 straight years of 200-plus innings, ERA under 2.44 in 2 of the last 4 years, doesn't walk anybody. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers. You got to pay for it.
You do have to pay for it. You pay every penny for it. Roberto Osuna at $21. I think he's one of the best pitchers. So I think Larry started a staff with Kluber, Osuna, and then he got guys like Minaya and Estrada and Givens and Harris. And I don't like Kennedy and Triggs, but I like the other names.
I think he got some really good values. I'm surprised Minaya only went for 8. He is a guy that I like this year. If you look back last year, he had some issues with ADD medication that caused him to not want to eat, and he lost weight, and the velocity was down on his fastball. This guy had great minor league numbers. I think 8's a steal. Marco Estrada is a guy who burned me last year, but looked like he had some issues with his changeup. I think he could bounce back, and to get him at $7 was nice. And Pomerantz obviously had the MRI the other day with the forearm issue. It came back clean. You're always worried, but the guy has pitched 170-plus innings. $5 on the Red Sox, worth the risk there. And Givens at $3, that's a nice one. He's a guy that they use a lot late, can get some wins, and who knows, maybe he winds up closing a little bit if Brad Brock can't get the job done.
Let me ask you, when I look at his team, and I'm just going to give you some names, Danny Valencia, Matt Davidson, Lurie Garcia, Colby Rasmus. He's got some big, gaping holes on his roster. Gaping! Can you win a league with gaping holes?
Yeah, I mean, find me the team here that doesn't have a weakness right now. It's impossible. You're going to have weaknesses. It's mono league, so you just can't have balance. I don't think you're going to look at a team and say, "Oh, I really love the team." You're going to be like, "Wow, weakness here, weakness here." It's part of it. You got to decide where you want the weaknesses. Rasmus for $1 is fine. I mean, this guy is playing in Camden Yards. Even if he's a platoon player for $1, Melky Cabrera, we'll see where he signs. $2, he could be someone that produces. Davidson showed big power last year, so Valencia, obviously another guy that hasn't signed that has shown he can hit. So, he took some risk there, but that's what happens when you're going to spend money on Kluber, 37 on Kluber and 32 on D. Gordon. This is what happens.
No, I guess it's true. I guess can you win with a balanced roster in a mono league, or do you leave yourself missing a star?
Usually it's difficult. Again, right? you need to find at-bats, consistent at-bats in a mono league, because the more at-bats you have, the more likely your counting stats are going to be better. So that's the key.
Let me correlate this to NBA DFS. Can you win with a bunch of $6,000 players, or do you need to have a couple of $10,000?
I think you can win a variety of ways. So, yeah, you can. If it's constructed right, yeah, you can. I think there's plenty of ways to win.
But here, but he's got stars. D. Gordon's a star. Whether you like him or not, he's a star in this type of league. Judge is a star.
Well, the thing with Gordon, again, I would never pay 32 for D. Gordon. I get it. He's a 3-category player, and he gives you a huge edge in stolen bases. So in this format, too, halfway through the year, if he builds up a nice lead in steals, he can trade D. Gordon. He's going to be a valuable piece for a team, because the stolen base category is one that you can pick up 4 or 5 points. It could be an absolute difference maker. So in trading leagues, that's what you consider when you got guys like Billy Hamilton and T. Gordon. If you can get enough of a lead in steals, and not even necessarily be first, but near the top 3 and have enough to stay there the rest of the year, he can bring you back something really well. But big homers and RBIs. 2 homers, 33 RBIs last year. It's a killer. But the runs are going to be there. It's a good lineup. He should be over 100. And he hits for average. That's the one thing compared to Billy Hamilton is D. Gordon hits for average. 308 hitter last year, career 293.
All right, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about Larry's team before we look at Lorne Michaels and Edgar Lamont, and we'll finish up. But I think there's something to, Larry is a winner. And when you win leagues, we've talked about this before, we try to emulate the winner. Do we do it in our own leagues? How do we do it? Should we do it? We will discuss. Scout Fantasy Sports returns right after this.
Skix sneakers are taking over tailgates and alumni homes across America. Skix canvas high top, low top, slip-on, and kids tennis style sneakers designed in officially licensed college colors and logos is a must-have for every college fan's wardrobe. Fun, fashionable, and comfortable. Whether you're at the big game or watching the game at home, Skix helps fans perform better. Go to Skix.com and use promo code FNTSY for 15% off your pair now. That's Skix.com. Skix sneakers, the soul of a true fan.
Steiner Sports is the leading memorabilia provider for the New York Yankees, Rangers, Giants, Knicks, and the Brooklyn Nets. Featuring hundreds of items from your favorite athletes, Steiner Sports is your source for the best sports gifts. Go to steinersports.com/box and shop our collection of memorabilia boxes, which include 10 gifts for the price of one. We've made one for each of your favorite teams. Hurry, supplies are limited, and these are some of the best deals we have ever offered. So go to steinersports.com/box today.
You might not see any palm trees or cacti out your window, but spring training is here, so it's time to draft. And here on the Fantasy Baseball Hour with Al Melchior, we have everything you need to assemble your best team. We'll be breaking down all the offseason player movement and zeroing in on the trends that'll keep you ahead of your league mates on draft day and beyond. So tune in to the Fantasy Baseball Hour with Al Melchior from Monday to Friday, right here on Fantasy Sports Radio, between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern, or between noon and 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll see you out there on the virtual diamond.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing at 800-955-3793 immediately. That's 800-955-3793. Page Publishing is looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to them and give you their feedback. If they like what they read, they'll get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. They handle everything: editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-955-3793 now for your free author submission kit. Again, for your free author submission kit, call 800-955-3793. That's 800-955-3793. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. Call Page Publishing at 800-955-3793 for your free author submission kit.
Hey, I'm Jeff. Look, I'm just a skeleton. I don't have an ACL anymore. but I'd still like to know what it means when one of my fantasy players sprains his. That's why I use the Inside Injuries app. It was created by real doctors, so you're getting information directly from people who have seen, touched, and operated on actual ACLs. Take it from me, a skeleton. If you aren't using it, you might as well just be guessing. Download the free app today and unlock the secrets of injury analysis.
All right, we're back. Scout Fantasy Sports. Dr. Roto along with Adam Ronis. Ronis, I may play basketball tonight, dude. I regret it already. I'm telling you, I regret it right now. I already regret it. I didn't even play yet.
Well, as long as you have the ability to be there a half hour before lineup lock and pay attention, because I'm pretty sure there will probably be a surprise scratch or two.
This is $5 in a dream, Ronis.
Your favorite contest.
It is. This is like my dream contest. 100,000 zone. Actually, can I tell you something? I've been winning in a lot in golf. You know that this year. Do you know why? I only play the 20 entry maximum.
I told you that's what you need to do. Really,
that's all I do. Yeah,
you got to either 3 entry max, 20, or single entry. That's the way to go. Because
this is the stupid donkey max.
It's just really because I look at the winning lineups, and a lot of times there are guys that are like 0.4% owned that they got lucky on. The guy that just comes off the bench and plays 25 minutes, or one of the worst starters in the league that just happens to go off. So that's the risk that you run in those type of formats with such a large player pool.
It's true. And even in golf, when I play the 20 max, right, you can't have that many combinations. You just can't have that many combinations. So that's why I find that, I still do very well because it's giving me a shot. When I'm going up against 150 lineups, there's almost no way to win.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You have to find that player that is completely contrarian, that is probably 1-2% owned that goes off. And, I've seen it. I mean, there was a week where Dante Cunningham for the Nets had like a big night. Yeah. It's like, who would have saw that coming? And
right. It didn't matter. 2 people did. As long as 2 people did, because they stacked the game, right?
Exactly. So it happens so often.
All right. Let me ask you this. Let's get back to winning fantasy baseball and Larry Schechter for a second. I think we could all admit, you and I could both admit, Larry is one of the top players in the industry. Would we agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's won many times in these leagues, and he obviously has a book out that has shown that he can have success.
Now, I know you don't like D. Gordon. I get it. You don't like him, and you make very cogent arguments of why you don't like him. But when Larry pays 32, and you were drafting, let's say, in an AL-only draft tonight, would you think for 1 second, Larry Schechter dropped 32 on him? This guy is one of the top 3-4 players in our industry. Would it make you think differently because a guy like Larry's bidding on him?
No, because everyone makes mistakes. Larry's going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. All of us are. And this is not an easy game. So you can tell me D. Gordon's going to earn this amount of money, but I don't need to win the stolen base category. And I get it. He's a 3-category guy, unlike some of the other speed guys that we talk about. Even Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton's really a 1-category guy. I mean, he might not even hit leadoff, and runs are a factor. So I get it. D. Gordon is an asset in batting average, runs scored, and stolen bases. No question about it. But I'm not paying that much for him, and I'm not taking him in the second round. I'll figure out, and I've done it in a lot of drafts, and I've already reviewed one on scoutfantasysports.com. I'll have another couple reviews up of drafts and my thinking, which I think is important for people, is roster construction. I have the Tout Wars draft tomorrow, so I'll write that up. And I've been able to compile stolen bases across the board. I have not taken D. Gordon, Billy Hamilton in any draft yet.
No, I know you haven't. I guess my point was, it's not about that. I look at it and I say, Larry's a very shrewd player who spends more time than anybody I know. If he's taking D. Gordon spending full value, I might need to give it a second thought. I'm not saying I need to do it, but I need to think about it here.
Look, it's viable. Can you have success? Yes. I do think it changes the way you have to structure your team, because you're losing in home run and RBIs. I get it. I understand the value of the steals, especially if he gets 60 again, because they're down, and he's a huge asset in that category. He helps in average and he helps in runs scored. So I get it, but you have to alter the way you draft, because everyone talks about, there's more power. You can find power late. Yeah, you need more power now. You need less steals because not as many people are running, so you don't need as many steals. And I think that's what people are forgetting. And yeah, you're going to get power late, but you're going to get guys that hit 25, 30 home runs that hit 230, 240. So you have to take that into account.
All right, let's go to Laura Michaels in Creative Sports. Jonathan Scope, $23. Matt Chapman, $22. Dustin Pedroia, $5. Ryan Healy, $12. Not like some of those guys, think that there might be a batting average problem here.
Yeah, maybe that was part of the plan here. There are a few guys. Chris Davis puts up big numbers, but has batted .247 to the last 2 years. JD Martinez will help, though, because I think he's a .290, .300 guy.
Kiermaier's not a big average guy.
No, and you got to, he's a good hitter, and he might hit third, but that's a pretty bad lineup right now. So counting stats are a bit of an issue. But Kiermaier's not going to kill your average. I think Chapman, my guess is it was like $22 for Chapman. Definitely looks like an overpay.
People thinking 30 home runs for him, though.
Fine, but you're paying $22 for that? I like Chapman, but I've gotten him late in drafts as a mixed infielder. See, he's a good defensive player. So, yes, it doesn't matter in fantasy, but when you're a good defensive glove like that, it means they're going to keep you in the field if you go through a slump. So that's the positive. He has been set back a little bit here with a hand injury in the spring. Seems like he's okay. There's power there, but you're paying $22 for that guy?
If I'm Laura Michaels, I'm very happy about J.D. Martinez at $31.
Oh, me too. I love J.D. Martinez. Yes, there's a little bit of a question with the list, Frank, because it took them some time to negotiate the contract, but this guy's a stud. I mean, he's going to put up monster numbers. I like him for 31.
And I like Craig Kimbrell at 25. I think he's a better guy than Chapman, to be quite honest with you. I think he's in a contract year. Who knows? He wants to pitch well. I'm just not sure you're winning a league with Sonny Gray, Jake Faria, Alex Cobb, a bunch of as your pitchers, though.
Yeah, it doesn't look great on paper, for sure. Sonny Gray, should get a lot of run support, and can he continue to pitch well with the Yankees in his first full year? So there are questions here. Alex Cobb, again, we don't know what team he's going to be on. Only invested 4, so that might work out. But yeah, there's some questions here on the staff.
All right, we get to the Roto lady, the first lady of Roto, Andrea Lamont. So we know that she goes with the cheap catchers, but I love her infield. Olsen, Dozier, Bregman, Joey Gallo. Don't you know it's Robinson, Cano, Ronis. All pretty solid. She paid a pretty penny, but she's got guys who can hit.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on the infield, but, some good players here. Bregman has talked about going 2020. We know Dozier consistently produces power, speed, runs scored. Olsen showed a ton of pop last year. Gallo, obviously, you just hope that he can improve the average just a little bit. Either way, this guy's an elite power hitter. Cano, a little bit discouraging, only 23 home runs in a year full of power, but guy drove in over 90. It's a good lineup. So, fine with Cano there. He's still a very good hitter.
I love Byron Buxton. I think she paid a lot for him at 29, but I'm okay with that. I like the upside. Austin Hayes at $2 I thought was genius. This kid could be the starting right fielder for the Orioles.
Yeah, I don't know if he starts the year in the majors. He's also dealing with an injury right now, but I think he'll be up. I mean, this guy just put up monster numbers last year. He exploded. The addition of Colby Rasmus might keep him down. I think he'll be up at some point, but I'm okay definitely paying $2. He had a huge breakout last year between single A and double A, batted .329, a .593 slugging percentage, and 32 home runs. He's a good contact hitter, only struck out 15.1% of the time. He hasn't played at AAA yet, so maybe it's worth them putting him down there. But, yes, I like that. I think that's going to pay dividends for her.
I like Jose Barrios and Aaron Sanchez. I thought those were two good pitchers. I'm worried about Hamels. I mean, I know you get innings with him, but I don't really like him. And I worry about Alex Colomé, but I like Colomé. The question is, will he get saves on a Tampa Bay Ray team that may only win 30 games, or may he get traded?
Yeah, and I think he gets traded. I guess she went away from Lenny Melnick's philosophy of not paying for closers because we don't. First of all, we don't even know if Blake Parker's the closer, so that's a risk there. As you mentioned,
she did take what's his face Kenya Middleton later though.
Okay, what if it's Cam Bedrosian who closes?
I know, right? I thought about that.
So Ronaldo Lopez, I like at $3. Actually, there's pretty good job here. Davinsky,
I love Davinsky. I think she got strikeouts.
I like Peacock too. I know he might not start. But injury strikes, he could be in the rotation. He could be a good long man out of the bullpen. So I think overall this was a pretty good job. And let's not forget Charlie Tilson at $4. Speed.
Did you say you liked Peacock, Ronis?
Yes.
Saying it, just throwing it out there. I like Charlie Tilson, by the way. And I think Adam Engel, is that Scott Engel's adopted son? I don't think he's holding the job this year.
Yeah, I think Tilson will be there. He'll get playing time. He'll steal. And Teoscar Hernandez, I like a lot. The problem is I just don't know if there's playing time for him there right now. So that's the only issue. She has a couple of guys, and Mike Napoli, too, who might not get many at-bats. So there are a few areas where she doesn't have at-bats, but she has a lot of guys who are stable who are going to get at-bats.
Do you like Teoscar?
Yes. But the thing, for a buck in American League, yes. But the problem is I just don't, right now I don't see where he's going to play.
Well,
I really liked him 2 months ago. And then Randall Grichuk comes in and Curtis Granderson. Right. So that's the issue.
Steve Pearce is still there.
I know. That's the biggest issue for him right now. But look, in an AL-only league, I'll take him for a buck.
What about Vlad Guerrero Jr.? When is this guy coming up?
I don't think we see him this year. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to be very good. And I don't think I don't think we see him yet.
So how about this next guy whose name I'm going to bring up? I got a text over the weekend from my friend Andy. Fernando Tatis Jr., ADP's flying. If you're the Padres, can you bring this guy up this year?
I don't see it. I know he's had a great spring, and he's got a bright future, but my guess is you see him in the minor leagues for most of this year.
Can you bring up a 19-year-old realistically?
We've seen it, but it's, especially where the Padres are, I don't see them doing it. I really don't.
How old was Pujols? 20, 21?
Came up? Probably, something like that. You don't see many guys that young come up.
No, right?
You'll see it with Acuna this year at 20.
So Acuna's 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Acuna's 20, then Tatis could come up at 22.
Yeah, but again, every team does things differently. Just because the Braves are doing it doesn't mean that the Padres are going to go that way.
No, but you got to let this guy play. He only had 14 games in Double-A last year.
Yeah.
Right, so he's got to play
a great spring, but come on.
Do you put him in Double-A again and then let him go to Triple-A, or do you let him go to Triple-A for the full year? What do you do with him?
Probably Double-A, because it was only 14 games, but he struck out almost 30% of the time and only walked 3.5% of the time. So 327 slugging. So let him get some at-bats down there.
I let him go to Double-A first. Bring him to AAA at some point this season. Start him in AAA the beginning of next year, and by Memorial Day, he's up.
Yeah, I think next year is when you see him up.
Would you draft him in an NFBC league, a Draft Champions League?
The Draft Champions? Yeah, I mean, when you get to the rounds 40 to 50, I mean, you're taking shots there, and maybe he's surprised and makes it up. So in that late, sure, I might take a shot on him because there's a lot of picks there that probably are not going to pan out for you anyway.
Are you done in your scout? My scout league is in around 38 now.
I'm in 3. So one is in 43, and the other 2, I believe, are like, I see round 40, round 39, and round 44.
Are you happy with your teams?
Yeah, one of them, oh my goodness. One of them I love. It's insane. Like, one of those drafts where like kind of everything fell to you. And then I did one interesting draft strategy, which I'm going to write up, where I actually went 3 pitchers in the first 4 rounds, which I have never done before. But they kept falling. And I was like, okay, you're going to let this fall to me. I'm going to take them.
Do you have a certain number of, like, I want to get 14 pitchers, I want to get 3 catchers? Do you know what you want to do before the draft starts?
I don't have a specific number. Catchers in the scouts with 44 rounds, I'm okay actually going with 3.
I'd meet you with 3.
Yeah, I just because the 4th one is probably going to be garbage. Do I really want to waste a pick on that? So I generally go 3 catchers. In a 50-round draft, I might go 4. Obviously, you want to get a lot of pitchers, and I want to make sure I have in the 44 at least 3 players at every position, 3 to 4. And the roster flexibility of some guys really helps. And I was able to get a few guys that do have multiple positions, and that's very important in those Draft Champions leagues.
No, that's true. I think I try to get 3 guys. Right now, I think I have 2 at some spot. That's not good. I got to fix that. Do you feel like you can fix things along the way, or you're desperate and you don't want to just take a scrubby guy?
No, I think you want to make sure you have at least 3, because there could be a point where both those guys are injured, and then what are you going to do? Take a 0 for the week or 2 weeks? That's not ideal.
That's true. And then how many outfielders will you carry? Out of 44 rosters, you play 5. Will you carry 10?
Yeah, usually at least 10.
10, right?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8. In my 38 league, I have 8. And my other one, 1, 2, 3. I only have 5 in round 30. I gotta get going, Ronis.
Yeah, you got to pick up a couple more outfielders for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just didn't pay, because I was trying to just do it by feel, which guys I liked. But I think at some point you have to settle down and really evaluate the positions, right?
Yeah, you have to take a look and make sure you have it covered because at-bats are key in that format, and we're going to be hit with injuries, and there probably will be a week where maybe you're not able to field an entire starting lineup. It's depressing, but it can happen.
All right, before we go, it's AL LABR. We went through each team. We'll do NL LABR tomorrow. Who is your prediction to win this league?
I didn't really break it down like that. I didn't really look at the teams in depth. You have someone you're picking?
I might go with the Roto lady.
I thought she did a solid job. Yeah, I do like it.
I mean, remember, I wasn't really concentrating on every single pick, but I was just as we went through each team, I was like, you know what? I like what she did. I love her infield. I like her pitchers. I think she did a good job. If she could get Charlie Tilson or Austin Hayes or Teoscar Hernandez to be decent, she might actually pull this one out.
Yeah, there's a couple holes to fill for sure. But again, if you manage it right, could be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. When you do a baseball draft, very rarely do you go, this guy's got a great team.
Especially in a mono league, really. I mean, you're just not going to look at a team and go, wow, that team is great. If you do say that, that means probably there's a lot of bad players in that room.
In football, I feel differently, though.
Well, football is a lot different. When you talk comparing football to a AL or NL only league, it's a lot different.
No, I know. But with football, when somebody walks out, you're like, that's a good team. I think that team has a shot. That's what I meant.
Yeah, because it's a different player pool. You're even in a mixed league auction, you don't look at a team and say, "Oh, that team's great." If it's a competitive league,
right? That's true. All right. By the way, Ichiro looks like he's going to be signing a 1-year deal with the Mariners.
It's Ichiro, man.
Ichiro. That's what it is. Ichiro. He doesn't even go by Suzuki, Ronis. Did you know that? All right, time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Want to thank Jaguar Lou from Scout DFS for joining us. Want to thank Chris and Mike in the booth, as always, for helping us. And, of course, please, you guys out there, go to scoutfantasysports.com. Please sign up for what we do. We want you to be a part of the Scout Army. All right, we'll be back tomorrow talking NL LABR. Ronis, get studying for your tout draft tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow night, picking number 10.
All right. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow. This is Dr. Roto saying, be well and take care.